Good morning, and thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. My name is Kim, also known as Yarning for a Smile, and if you've been a follower of this channel for this long and you've stuck with me, thank you, because this channel has been completely neglected, and I want to change that. So what I'm going to do is kind of revamp how I do things. I have some giveaways planned. I want to do some interviews with some giveaways and just kind of get back to the fun of knitting and sharing and talking with other people. I would like to set up some lives where I use StreamYard, and if anyone would like to come on the show and show off what they're making, they'll be able to do that. I've got that downloaded. I just have to kind of play around with it and figure it out. But I'm really hoping to grow this channel, and to do that I need your help by liking and subscribing. And if you have any ideas of what kind of things you would like to see in the show, I would love to hear that also. I have a weird glare, so I apologize for that. It's like right here. I don't know what that is. But welcome to my corner of the kitchen. As you can see, not only do I love yarn, but I love plants. I think I have like 66 to 68 plants inside of our house. Today, though, I want to do a little kind of look back of what I have been up to since January 22. I kind of had a little hiatus, as you can obviously see in the YouTube channel, where for a while I lost my knitting mojo. And I think that's a very common thing, especially with all the things and the stressors that are going on in the world today. A lot of people run to their knitting, and some people just get burned out. And I was one of those people. I just got burned out on it all. So during that time I did a lot of video game playing. But I've recently really got the urge to knit. And so with 2022, I joined 2 yearly knit-alongs, the Year of the Gnomes with Imagine Landscapes, and then Desert Vista Dyeworks holds a knit-along every year where you use her yarn and you knit like a pair of socks or mittens, fingerless mittens, but they have to use over half of the skein or a hat. So I had a bunch of Desert Vista Dyeworks yarn that I've been buying ever since I started knitting, which is like in 2013. I learned about this knit-along that she does, because this is like her 8th year of doing it. Maybe it's 2014 that I learned about it. Anyways, so ever since I learned about this knit-along, I wanted to do it. But I have big feet, y'all. I wear like a women's 13. So that is a whole lot of sock. And I'm going to sew you some socks that I've done for January and February. It's a lot of yarn. So I've kind of been, I didn't know if I can, actually accomplish it. So I've never done it, except for this year. I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to stay up with it, and I'm going to get my free skein of yarn, because at the end of the year, if you turn in your project on time each month, you get like this awesome skein of yarn that she dyes just for the people that finish this knit-along. And from what I understood, usually it's only like a handful every year, because people just kind of put her out during the time frame. And with the gnome knit-along, you're just supposed to knit like a gnome a month from Imagine Landscapes pattern, and if you do that every month, then you get like a little surprise. But Sarah, who runs it, says, as long as you knit a gnome, you'll be entered to win something. So it's not too late to join that knit-along. The Desert Vista Dyeworks, it is kind of too late to join that knit-along, but she does have like a monthly giveaway in her group if you have her yarn. So, in saying all that, today's focus is just going to be kind of a look back from then to now, which is what I titled this episode about. On saying on that, let's get started with today's video. So I think we'll start off with some whips. And since I was talking about the knit-alongs, I think I'm going to start off, and I've got like just piles of stuff, so you'll have to excuse me. We're going to talk about Sarah's Year of Gnomes. Now, Sarah is Imagine Landscapes, and she is like the gnome creator as far as pattern writing. Her gnomes are very whimsical. They're just cute and they're super fun to make. Her patterns are so well written. And if I'm not mistaken, on her Ravelry group, has a coupon right now on her patterns through Ravelry. So when you go to her Ravelry library, and I'll have links provided at the bottom of this video. If you buy 3 patterns, you get 1 free. Place any 4 of my patterns in your cart, and the least expensive one will be free, including ebooks. No coupon needed. So that's her little coupon discount thing through Ravelry. I'm drinking some coffee this morning because it is only 7:41. So I have made so far 3 of her patterns. One of them I made a couple years ago. I made was when she did a knit along back in 2019, and it was the Gnome de Plume, which is this guy, and he is adorable. I made him out of Wonderland Yarns, Mad Hatter. The green is just called green. Then there's the multicolor, and then the teal. Now he has some cute little details, and her patterns are so well written and easy to make. So like she uses the natural roll of stockinette that we all hate to kind of make this little band on his hat because it's naturally going to roll. And then he has like some amazing cable detail in his hat, followed by a little leaf to top it off. So he is adorable. And the yarn, this yarn is actually a sport weight yarn. And that's what I love about her patterns too. So you can use any weight yarn. And she actually has this little Google document that has the different all her gnomes, and it has like the yardage you would need for each gnome. And so you can use worsted, fingering, Aran, chunky, and you can make him. So this is the one I made back in 2019. So for January, the start of her knit along, you had to pick a gnome. I picked Oh Gnome You Didn't. And the reason is because he just looked like he would be a winter gnome to me, with his little hat and scarf. And I use fingering weight yarns with him. This multicolor is Desert Vista Dyeworks macaroons, and this kind of fuchsia pink is Orchid, and it's Sweet Georgia Yarns Tough Sock. And then purple was actually just some random scraps. I don't even know where they came from. And then the nose and his little hands is actually some leftover Wonderland Yarns Cheshire Cat, and it was from a color pack called Cats in the Coffee. And I used that pack to make this really gorgeous scarf from a local designer, and I'll link that. But he is adorable. He has this like chest, kind of like jester hat. It has these 3 little things on there. The pattern had you put tassels, but I wanted to do palms, and so I did my palms all with the main color of the hat, but I also used some of I pulled just color repeats out of his little sweater, so each one would be a different color. He has 2 little pockets, and those are so easy to make, and he can put his little hands in his pockets. But he is just adorable. And her patterns are fun because like you don't have to worry about all the little tedious stuff. So like the little eyes and face features you don't have to worry about because there are none. It's just a hat and his nose. And I just really love the way that they work out. So that was my January gnome, and I use, like I said, fingering weight. I do, so here's a little trick. Now, in her, she has like YouTube channel also that I will link below. And she has videos on how to stuff your gnomes. She walks you through everything. If you've never made a stuffy, then she's a great place to start. And she tells you how you can put things in the bottom to weigh them down so they stand up. A lot of people use like beans, like in a stocking, or they'll use like these little pellets that you can buy. I just got rocks from outside and kind of made like a nest in the stuffing and stuck the rock in it because it's free. And I have a plethora of them, so it works. So like both of these have rocks, and even the third one has rocks, and the rock is like right there. But you know, whatever. So for February, because it's the month of love, I wanted to do something that was kind of Valentine's Day. So there was a gnome that she has called Nice to Gnome You. And I picked out some yarn. So I have some crazy yarn, which is a shepherd fiber mill yarn. And basically it's all their mill ends that they just kind of ply together and they make these gorgeous colorways. And I really love their yarns, but I can never find a great project to use them from. But this is perfect. So this is my Nice to Gnome You gnome. And this is all from a skein of crazy yarn, and I just broke it up, the colors, and except for the nose, and was able to knit this guy. It looks like he has different colors, which is all from the same skein. This cute little button is from Walmart, actually, and it's like a little wood button, but I think it really works with the Valentine's Day theme that I was going with. He does have a pipe cleaner in his hat, which allows for that to kind of stick up. And this was a kind of fun way to do that little piece. Again, we have like this cute brim that's made out of garter, which kind of covers his face. He has his nose. He has hands. He has a pocket where his gloves, his hands can go. His beard, though, so this beard kind of had like, I don't know if you can see, has like a leaf to match its leaf hat. This guy didn't even have a beard, but this guy's beard has like this cable detail that's just gorgeous, and it's so cute. And again, here are the rocks I have in there. But he was a lot of fun. So I used sport weight on him as well. And I didn't figure out my exact yardage, but I think I used close to 100 and something grams. But I really, really love how he turned out. And so my goal is when I make these to kind of try to use a different weight yarn every time so I can have a bunch of different sizes of gnomes. And they're going to live in our bookcase in the living room because they make me happy. So those are my gnomes. So for this month, March, I'm actually going to be making her gnome called Gnome Pun Intended. My idea is to try to pull green yarns because, you know, it's March and it's the month of spring and it's the month of St. Patrick's Day. And I kind of have what in my mind what yarns I may pull, but honestly, I haven't even pulled them yet. And today is the 22nd, and I haven't even started on him. I'm kind of running behind this month, but I've already bought the pattern. It looks to be like a simple knit. I'm hoping so. So he's kind of got like this wiry beard and this like slouchy hat. Now, again, this is my goal to make this for February. I also have another whip I'm going to show you that is like a sample knit for a yarn dyer that has to take priority. So if it comes down to the wire, and any of your gnomes work, I may have to make a gnome using half the stitch count, so it'll be less knitting, just to pump out a gnome and have my gnome for the month of March. I really hope it does not come down to that, but a knitter's got to do what a knitter's got to do. I mean, you know, it's just the way it is. But that's my gnome, my gnomeness. So as far as the sock knit along, I started off with January with this lovely yarn from Vista Dyeworks. Now this is part of her decomp series, so she does these amazing self-striping yarns. But she has a couple of yarns, this is what is self-striping, but she has a couple of yarns that are just kind of like variegated, and I'm going to show you one in a minute because I think they are so underrated. Like everyone's like, oh, her self-striping is amazing, but like, y'all, she can dye some yarn, and her yarns definitely prove that. So this is a basic vanilla sock toe up, which is my way of knitting socks. This is the foot. I have to knit like to 8 3/4 inches before I can start my heel because my foot size. And then I have my cuff. I do a fish lips kiss heel always because it's my fave, and just some ribbing. And I knit these on a 2.25. So this was my first time doing 2 at a time. And I used a 40-inch circular needle, and I hated it. Typically I'm a DPN girl, but I wanted to try 2 at a time because I kind of get second sock syndrome, and like I have to knit like a pair of socks or a fingerless mitts each month, and I didn't want to kind of get lost doing that. So I tried the 40-inch cable and I hated it. And then I got 2 circulars and loved that. And I'll talk about that more in a minute. But this colorway is part of her Somebody series. So she has all these different series of colorways. Each month she has like certain colors that are released for that month. And they go up for pre-order, up to buy, usually a couple of days before the month. And at the end of the month, they're gone. You cannot buy them again until next year. So if you ever see a color that you like, it's best to jump on it. There is some wait time with her yarns, but her yarns are so worth the wait because they're stunning. And they're dyed very well. So this is the Somebody in some llamas in pajamas, and it's just this fun stripe, green stripe with like a variegated color in the middle. And this color in the middle looks a lot like her lavender decomp, and her decomp is the variegated yarn I was talking about. So this is another one of her decomp series. This was my February sock yarns, and this is actually called Green Decomp, I think. Yeah, Somebody Green Decomp. But I actually have the lavender, and it's just like that in between. But look how pretty her speckles are, or her variegated is. There's no pooling, it's just dyed to perfection. And this is actually the Tin Can Knits Rye pattern. Super fun pattern, and it makes the sock really comfortable to wear. Again, I use my 2.25 toe up, knit for forever before I start my heel, fish lips kiss heel, and my ribbing. But on the top of your foot is where you do just like a purl bump, and it goes all the way down the front of the foot. But it kind of adds detail, but it's not too mind consuming. And I kind of started mine later on because I don't like anything around my toes, and I have some long toes, but these fit to perfection, and I just cannot get over how gorgeous that yarn is. So those are my February socks. So also this year I've kind of initiated Scrappy Sundays, and I didn't bring any of my Scrappy projects in here. Well, I brought one. So I've been picking up my sock yarn blanket. I started this way back in 2015, January 27th to be exact. And as you can see, I haven't worked on it that much until recently. So, and within the last month, actually, I've added 4 little squares. But what I'm doing is each time I knit a pair of socks, I'm putting a square on here, and then I'm making a barn raising square, and that's what I didn't bring in here. And I'm also making a wee sock, so I guess we'll have to talk about those next time. And that way, I'll kind of show progress on both of my knitted blankets, and I'll have like a cute little sock garland at the end of the month. And I promise I will talk about that little sock later because it's a free pattern and it's adorable. Maybe I'll just kind of pick back this video in a little bit and go get it. So for my for my blanket, I use Signature 7-inch singles and the stiletto tip needle, and it's perfect for this. And I bought these needles just for this project. So there is the January sock yarn. I haven't even put the February on here. I was putting some, this is what I just kind of found. I put this one on there. I put that one on there. And the way that I'm doing my blanket, I don't know if you can see, I'm trying to get it. Okay, there, you can kind of see with the decreases, I'm making ginormous diamonds so that my decreases form a diamond. And it just takes a little bit extra planning, but I really like how it's coming out. This blanket is a super fun knit. It's kind of relaxing. But I'm only working on it on the weekend on Scrappy Sundays because I've had other things I've had to get done. So the way I keep up with mine is it has a Ravelry page, and I number each square, and I write down where the yarn is from or who sent me the yarn, and I try to link the project from my own project or whoever sent it to me's project. That's not the sheet. I also have this diagram that I'm using. This is something I drew up. And you can kind of see there how I'm making the diamonds with the decreases. And this is, I'm a very visual person. So I can mark the square on here, and then I can go into Ravelry, mark the square, take a picture, put a number on it, and post it with the product page. But this kind of just helps me keep in line like which way my decrease needs to go. I am actually knitting all of these on. So for instance, like this next square here, I will need to pick up these stitches here, put my stitch marker, and then backward loop cast on this way, so when I go to knit back and forth and I decrease, the decrease goes that way, and it will help form the diamond. But that is a very long going whip. As far as other whips, so I have my March Desert Vista Dyeworks project, which this time I'm making fingerless mitts, and I'm using I cannot speak for some reason, Ides of March colorway. Now this is a colorway that again goes out at the end of the March, so if you like this colorway, you need to jump on her website and buy it before you cannot buy it until next year. I love this colorway because it's like this black and grays with blurps of red. And I'm using the Fade Walker Mitts pattern. It's a free pattern, but there's also a Jaywalker sock. It's basically the same essential pattern, except one of them is fingerless mitts and one is a sock. However, the fingerless mitts only goes to like a small medium size, and the sock is written for like larger sizes. And a lot of people, and I know because I knit the socks, and I use one of her colorways actually. In the past, and the way that the stitches form, it kind of pulls on the fabric, so it runs a little smaller than like a typical pattern. So what I did, because I knew that I wanted these to be long, is I actually used the sizing of one of the socks for my mitts. That way I can make it big enough to go over my forearm, and it goes almost, you know, there's my elbow, so it goes all the way down, and it's just super pretty. I've already got this one bound off. I don't like my mitts to go far over my fingers because when I knit, they get caught on the needle. So like that's as far as I really like. And I'll pick up these stitches on my thumb and go like 2 or 3 rounds and then bind them off, and then this one's done. And then I just have to sew in my ends. On the second one, I'm already doing the ribbing, which I should finish up any second now, and I'll do the same thing, pick up the thumb, and then this will be done. And I pulled the yarns from the same place so that my stitches or my repeats line up as close as possible. And that sun maybe wipe it down. That's better. But it's a really fun pattern. And they make really great fitting mitts. So on this project I have my cute little leprechaun from Simply Serving Charms. I love her charms. And this is just living in a basket from African Market Baskets. I love their baskets. So that is that. So now I'm also working on Storm by Hohe Locatelli, and this is for a sample knit. So Knits for Comfort is a yarn dyer. Let me show you her label. So I'm using her Blue Rasp Ice, and it's her sparkle base. It's 438 yards, fingering weight, 75% merino superwash, 20% nylon, and 5% stellina. And it retails for $25. So this is her yarn that she wanted me to knit it in. I really hope I can get the sparkle. You can kind of see the sparkles. Kara's never want to pick up the sparkles. Don't know why. And this has been moving along quite well. So I am now at, I have to finish this. I think I have one more row left on this eyelet band. And then I have to do another one of these drop stitch bands here. And then it's just knitting a little bit and binding off. So my goal is to finish the mitts today, start working on this today, only focus on this. Really want to try to get this off the needles by Friday so I can get the 2 ends woven in, get it blocked, and get it to her before the end of the month. That is my goal. And I also need to knit my gnome. So I'm hoping I can start him on Sunday. We shall see. But it's super pretty in this yarn. I really wish I can get the sparkles to show up. I love the drop stitches. When I do this neck drop stitch band, I'm probably going to record a video and I'll just pop it up as like a little tutorial, because I know I'm also now currently a mod of the knit chat group on Facebook. I have my own personal knitting and crochet group on Facebook, and I see a lot of people ask in the knit and chat group about drop stitches. and clarifications. I'm also in the group called the knitting circle. I see a lot of people ask about drop stitches, so I'm going to make a little video to kind of show when you have like 4 yarn overs, you know, how do you know which one to drop? But it's just a super fun pattern. This is going really fast, and I love the outcome. So this one's kind of hard for me. I have another project that I started. I started a pattern called Close to You, and it's a shawl. And I'm making this in memory of my friend Michelle. Now, Michelle, who is known as Junk It Up on Ravelry, passed away in January. And it was very kind of sudden. Like, I talked to her a few days before via Messenger. We always kind of like were tagging each other in Instagram posts. And then she's just gone. And it's heartbreaking. You know, I've lost people in my life, but it's always been like family members who are older than me. And so I have a pretty good grasp or wrap around on dealing with that kind of loss. But when it's someone your own age and it's a mom and they're leaving behind their kids, it's just a lot harder to deal with. It's kind of it's eye-opening and it's shocking, and it just lets you appreciate life more. It kind of makes you appreciate life more. But I know she's still with me, and she's with all of her friends, because she's a very outgoing and wonderful person who shared love, constantly shared God's love. And so I know that where she is, and I know that I'm going to get to see her again, and that our souls will get to embrace. But I wanted to cast on something to kind of, as a memory, you know, of her. And so a while back, she was needing to sell some yarn to help kind of cover cost of a divorce. And so I bought a bunch of yarn from her, even though I did not need yarn. But I wanted to support her and help her in that endeavor. And so I bought this one skein of yarn, and it was a Miss Babs Yowza in Birthday Jubilee. And I bought it like around my birthday. Does that say? Oh, Birthday Jubilee. And it's this really fun ball of DK pink, lively, colorful yarn. And I immediately thought about when I wanted to cast on something, this yarn, because that's how Michelle always was. She was always just alive and colorful and fun, and I thought it'd be perfect to cast on something that I'd gotten from her that also reminded me of her. So the shawl I cast on, I haven't really got to do that much work on this because, like I said, it's kind of hard to work on it, or it really, really hard. But it's definitely going to come to and be a thing. But it's a asymmetrical shawl with some eyelets, and it's just a little mindless knitting piece. But it's fun. It's like she was. It was fun. And it puts a smile on my face. And I really wanted to work on it, but we've been trying to get my parents' house livable because they bought an older home in November, and it has been the epitome of the movie Money Pit. It's been a nightmare. It's been a nightmare. My parents have been without a kitchen for over a month now. They had to have a new roof put on. We've had to rip up all the carpet. We had to tear off walls. We had to rip up floors. We had to tear out ceilings. So basically everything they own is in their basement, and all they have upstairs is a bed, a TV, and a computer. And every day they get up and work on their house, and they come and get our children and we go help them. But that's kind of kept me like from knitting that much. And when I cast this on in January, like when I was knitting on it, all these emotions would come back to me about Michelle. And so I haven't really I couldn't handle it a lot to knit on it then. So I'm hoping now once I get this sample knit done that I can pick it back up and work on it a little bit every day. Because I want to be able to have that done and use that yarn. I also knit a baby shower gift, a hat, and a sweater, and I'll have like a little montage of photos of kind of things I've taken pictures of from January until now, and that'll be in there. But I also cast on another one. So, and y'all have to excuse me, I have like crazy bedhead. I was thinking about the Michelle situation and how, you know, we can be gone in an instant. So also in January, I kind of decided that I want to start making some baby things to put up for my boys. So if something happens and I am taking from this earth sooner than I would like, that I actually have some things put up for them that I've made for when they get older and have children. So I started a baby vertebrae. One of them I already gifted to someone who was having a baby, and then I'm starting this one to put up, and I'm using Malintosh Pashmina, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but it's this gorgeous blue color. That's pretty accurate, I would say. And it's just, it's kind of getting washed out. It's a little bit lighter, but super pretty. And I'm knitting this on, I think, threes. Yep, threes. So that's a slow go project, and that hasn't really got touched at all this month either. So that's pretty much all I've been working on and all of my, so I went and grabbed my other Scrappy Sunday project. So this is living in my Namaste case. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw me post about this case. I've always wanted one of these, not those. And they have the new line with Deli Q that are canvas, but there's been a lot of, from what I've seen, issues with the little snappy closure on the new ones, where it's just kind of like barely screwed into the lid and like it just falls off. And it's $85. And this is like happening quite frequently. I've seen a couple people ask about it. There's some reviews on their website. You know, one lady's just like, at this point, I just want my money back. Because they sent her another one, and in the box, when it got to her, the class was already laying in the bottom of the box. So this is their collaboration, or this isn't their collaboration. This is when they took over Namaste Products a couple of years ago, Jimmy Beans, and they revamped the line, and they made this one. So it's like a faux suede. Now the original Namaste, I bought some stuff at Stitches 2000 and I don't even know what year it was. Super long ago. And it was like a faux leather, but it peeled really, really badly. I have several pieces. I have a Monroe bag. I have a Harlow bag. I have the BYOBs, bring your own binders, which they're perfect. They work well. But both of my bags have started showing some peeling. And I take really good care of my bags. So when they took over the line and redid the quality, I was really impressed. So I bought like the mini Baker's backpack. I bought the big Maker's backpack and a couple of their little buddy accessory cases. And I always wanted one of these. I never got it. But I actually found, sorry, it's early, y'all. This guy on eBay new in a box. So I jumped on it because I wanted this for Scrappy Sunday projects. So I have the patterns turned around because of copyright. But basically I have in here all the things I need to make my barn raising square and my wee socks. And so when you buy this case, you get like these little magnets. And I don't know about the new one. I also read reviews for the new one. The lid will not stay open, where the old one, it stays open with ease. And it's magnetic. So I have some, these are cross stitch needle minders, but they're cute. And I like to cross stitch, so I stuck them on here. And this one reminds me of my cat Oliver, who passed away several years ago. But you do get one of these snap bags. And you get like a little journal with them. And I think like a darning needle. But in here I have 2 old snaps. And then some leftover yarns. And I have a chicken boots accessory. This is my Harry Potter. You see the mandrakes. This company went out of business, and it's so sad because their stuff, they didn't really go business. I think she's just retired. But their stuff is just amazing, and I miss it. I have a lot of their bags. God, I love chicken boots. I hate it. So, barn raising squares are these things. And they're squares, and I'm going to keep knitting, and then eventually I'll join them. And I probably should join as I go, because I know I hate joining things. But I haven't done it yet. As you can see, I have a stack of them, because I started these a long time ago as well. I'm not going to show you all of them, but the last one I did was for January's yarn. Haven't done February's yet. And I also, in here, have my wee socks. So this is a free pattern. There's my January wee sock. And this is from the leftover yarns from this gnome. And I want to only use Desert Vista Dyeworks yarns for this pattern. Because at the end of the year, I want to have like this little holiday stocking garland of just her yarns from projects that I made that year, since I'm going to be doing at least one a month. So this was the first sock I did, and I actually went back and ripped out part of it and redid it because I didn't like how it did. I do have my modifications on my Ravelry page. I think this one turned out a little bit more proportional, but it's fine. So what I did here was I actually copied and pasted the patterns for the barn raising square in my mini wee sock, my version, my mods, onto a document, downsize the sizing, cut them out so that way I can turn these over and I have the patterns just right here. So if we go anywhere, you know, and the husband's driving, I can just grab this train case, and I have, because I also have the needles in there, stitch markers, everything, and I'm good to go. This does have a side feed, so you can feed the yarn out there if you have it closed and if it's sitting in front of you. But I just really like these. I messaged DeliQ about the quality because of the strap. They did assure me that they have addressed it, but I don't want to be the guinea pig to spend that money to find out, to be quite honest. The only thing I wish this thing had was feet. I feel like if you're going to have like a, you know, faux leather or leather, you should have some kind of metal feet on it. It would have been amazing if it had the same metal feet like that's on this handle. I know I've seen where somebody had went in and put that on there, but I'm not going to mess with that. So that actually wraps up all my whips and FOs that I've done since January. So now let's look at some mail. It's in the mail. We all love the mail. So my friend Deborah and I, we get each other Christmas presents and birthday presents every year. However, a lot of the time, life happens and those presents arrive a little later than expected. Especially in my case. Like, so I just sent her a present that was her birthday / Christmas, Valentine's Day, hey, congrats on the new place gift. It happens. Life happens. But she sent me this book, Knitting from Center Out. And it's a super cute book. And it's called An Introduction to Revolutionary Knitting with 28 Modern Projects. And basically all these patterns have you start in the center and knit out. I thought I'd do like a little flip through. I have a bunch of books, so I'm thinking like each time I record, I'll pick up a book and highlight it and share with you guys some of the patterns in there. You can always look up a book on Ravelry to kind of see the patterns in there, although sometimes not all of them are uploaded. But this book has this cute like gnome hat in there, which I think is pretty adorable. It goes over different techniques. There's a shawl, I-cord shawl, which is kind of cool, like jewelry. Big needed necklace, which is very boho to me, and that's a very popular style. This would be perfect for summer with a tank top and some blue jean shorts. There's a section called Hats, Mittens, and Socks, which it has like another little gnome hat, a cone hat. There's another version I'd show from the very beginning. Cute witch's hat, which would be really cute to make for somebody for a Harry Potter Halloween costume. Just saying. There's a side view. There's a cute beanie. I really like the top of this beanie. It's called the 2x2 rib cap. Medallion cap. And then there's these mittens in here, these half moon mittens, and the construction of these is kind of crazy. Oh, so you can kind of see them look like kind of a half circle, and it goes over the construction where basically you start at the thumb and you go down the thumb, and then you go out and make this kind of like circle, and then you seam it to make the glove. So it's kind of cool. It's very unique construction. And then there's these slippers that my mom would love. But they kind of look like a duck bill on the front of them using garter. But you basically start, I don't want to show the whole, wahoo. So you start in the middle of the foot and you basically go around and then work out, which again is very neat. I think the way that this thing uses construction is very interesting. There are these really cute socks, which I'm probably going to use on one of my months of Desert Vista Dyeworks sock club. There's a little close up. It's just a little detail. And then here's another fun sock with construction. So this one, you start at the heel in a circle and you work out of the circle, and then you kind of make the bottom of the foot and then work around the foot. There's some like pantyhose looking socks. And then it has a toy section, and it has these adorable octopuses. And I love knitting stuffies. some starfish. Bear. Oop, I hit a button, sorry. Sorry about the button. Then you have shawls and blankets. Now, first of all, for this person's dog is all throughout the book, and it's adorable. So we have a Queen Anne lace, which is a very open knit blanket. I like this one, the Dahlia. That would make a really cute baby gift for somebody because it doesn't have ginormous holes where baby can get little fingers and toes stuck in. Sunflower shawl is kind of like a wearable blanket, and it's gorgeous. Then there's a Isosceles shawl. It's a lace weight, very airy and whimsical. The spiral petal. The feather and fan, which is a very, very popular stitch. Star baby blanket. I don't know if you heard that loud thump. It sounded like one of my kids just fell out of their bed. Tree of life. The ripple baby blanket, which is super cute. There's a lot of patterns in this book. Then it has a sweater section. It has a geometric shrug. Gosh, I keep hitting a button. Leaf yoke sweater, which is really pretty and lacy. A hooded down hoodie. That showed the wrong side. I really, really like this. This is more my style. It's kind of simple. I like the rib. I like how it has the lines going down the side, and the front pocket says everything should have a pocket. And then the back of the book has a tutorial section, which you can kind of see. So the book retails for $27 in the US, but it has a lot of patterns. And I think it's a fun book. Like I said, I want to make a couple of things out of it. Eventually, they're on my to-do list. But I was very excited to get this because my friend knows I love some books. Me some yarn. So she sent me some Malabrigo, and this is like one of their recent lines. So this is Sandbank, and then she sent me this color, Ursula, which is from The Little Mermaid. So if you know me, you know that I love purple. I recently got a new computer, and it's purple. True story facts. Which is why I'm able to redo my YouTube channel, because I have a way to record now. It's not going to die every 5 minutes. But these are going to make a beautiful shawl. And I love The Little Mermaid. Yarn, look at the blips of color in this yarn. So pretty. And so I actually sent her some yarn too, so we can kind of have like somewhat twinsy shawls without being like two twinsy shawls. But love, love, love. So in January, I decided that I was going to go on a yarn diet. Because I have a lot of yarn. And I need to knit it. Which is great and all, you know, in its ideology. But the reality is I'm a yarn addict. And the first step is admitting that I have a problem. But yet, I do good. I've only, I didn't really buy yarn until I bought her some yarn. And then it was kind of like a downward spiral. So when I bought her yarn, and I sent her, I forgot what colorway I sent her. I can't think, but it's like greens and like aquas. It's really, really pretty. It's very her. So when I ordered her yarn out of the Malabrigo like series, and I think it's called, the series is called Fairy Tales or something. This is Sneezy from the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, because he's like my favorite little dwarf. And usually I'm not a red person, but I saw this and I just really, really liked it. It's like, it reminds me of old barns and fall in Alabama with the browns and the reds and the darks, but I don't know what it's going to be. It hasn't told me what it's going to be yet, but it told me that it wanted to come home with me, and so it did. And that's why I have it. And then, so each month with the Desert Vista Dyeworks knit along, she gives out prizes, and she usually sends out a coupon code. And this is going to crinkle, and I'm sorry. Okay, so Desert Vista Dyeworks. Here's her actual business card. Trying to get to focus. Ooh, okay. And she sends this little card that says, every skein of Desert Vista Dyeworks yarn is dyed as is to ordered, so you're guaranteed that your yarn you receive is dyed just for you. Yeah, that's kind of why it takes forever on her orders, but it's, again, so worth it. So she had offered a coupon code last month for people to buy some more of her yarn. And she recently just put out like a TV series or like a Netflix series line, and she made a Handmaid's Tale colorway. So this is on the Vizio base, which is 462 yards of sock weight, and it's a 75/25, and it's the Handmaid's Tale, and it's just miraculous. So I don't know if you can try to make it get all the colors, but it has pinks, and it has these reds, and it has these teals, and it has these greens, and I'll put in her inspirational photo that she used, but it's just perfect. And the husband and I started watching The Handmaid's Tale back in the fall, and we went in like full force watching this thing. I think we have like 2 or 3 episodes of the current season, but we refuse to watch them until it gets closer to the newer season release, because we hate having to have these long pauses in between. But we've been watching it in the bedroom at night. But we're anxiously waiting for the new season to release so we can finish it. But it's really good. It's kind of it's kind of crazy because I don't know. To me, I like it because it shows how blinded we can be by our own realities. I think that it's something we see in today's world, not to that extreme, obviously, that it's easy when you're on one side, only being able to see your own side as being the only way and the greatest way, and not seeing the harm it causes others. And I think that goes for both sides of any situation. And it just kind of uses a very extravagant way to show that. And I just think it's really interesting the way that it was written. So I picked up that. So then, occasionally, I will troll the Ravelry D-stash groups and pages looking for yarns that I love. And I love a Homespun House. I've been collecting a Homespun House yarn for a while now. I used a skein a while back in a shawl. But eventually I would like to maybe knit a fade sweater for me in it once I get... I really love her yarns. And so I saw where this lady had destashed them. And so I purchased some from her. And the poor lady wound up getting COVID. And I think her daughter got COVID. Maybe her husband. I don't know. So I felt so sorry for her. She was in my thoughts and prayers. And she kept messaging me and like staying, you know, in contact with me. Saying, hey, I'm going to get this out to you. I'm going to get this out to you. But like another one of us has called it. And I'm like, no, it's okay. Just whenever you get a chance. It's not a big deal. Take care of your family. And so she sent me my yarn, and then she sent me the most adorable little message. Says, thank you again for your kindness and understanding when I and my family were sick. I hope you can use this towel and stitch marker crystal. And she sent it on this cute little knitting notes card. And she sent me this adorable little stitch marker. It has this really pretty orange, kind of like stone looking bead in it. I don't know if you can see. It's very shiny. And so the towel that she sent me is this cute little towel that says, finally, someone who really does want socks for Christmas. It's so cute because no one in my family ever wants me to make them socks. They hardly ever wear socks, but it's like this little cute embroidered towel for my kitchen that I will definitely be putting up this year. And I just thought that was the sweetest little gesture for saying thank you. And it was so cute. I was not expecting that. So the yarn I got from her is like 2 Christmas colors of Homespun House that Molly does every year that I've wanted. But now that she's back in Berlin, and because the way shipping is right now, it's just so expensive. And I actually did a Homespun House yarn club a couple years ago when she was in Berlin before she moved to the US and then moved back to Berlin. And like the shipping was insane. I don't regret it, but it was not cheap. But this is one of her colorways, and this is Home for the Holidays, and this is a colorway that I've always loved and wanted. And so when I saw that she was destashing it with American price shipping, I jumped on it. And she gave me a little bit of deal because I bought 2 of them. Because I also got this colorway, which has been on my want list for forever. And this is her Gingerbread Home colorway. And there's just something about browns and greens that just gets me every time. Maybe it's my love of plants because, you know, the dirt and the green. I don't know. But there is all kind of colors. And it's a 100-gram skein. And this is on her Plump Merino base. And this is also Plump Merino, which is 80-20, 407 yards. But this one comes with like a mini to do alternate heels and toes. This is probably not going to be socks. This is probably going to be a hat for me, actually. Because I just can't put this on my feet. Because I wanted it too long and it's just too pretty. I don't know what hat. Maybe something like a sock head. But definitely all kind of happy for that. And that is everything that I have to show, to talk about for now. I have a video that I'll be recording coming up, a review of the Jimmy Beans and Delique Canvas Makers backpack. Before my relaunch of this channel, I did a review of the rollover top bag. So that is posted if you want to check that out. Like I said, hit that subscribe button. Follow along. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions, comments, please feel free to leave them below. Also, if you look at my YouTube channel, the About tab, it has links to where you can find me all over social media. Sorry, it's pollen season in Alabama. And you can hit me up on any of those. If there's something you want to hear about, you know, please let me know. And I will see about doing a review or a technique that you need to know about. We'll just go from there. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day and happy yarning.